just his growth and his route running ability, obviously, and his catching ability has gotten so much better and continues to get better. And then just, obviously handing him off the ball and seeing his vision get better as time has gone on. He's a hell of a talent, a guy we rely on, and I think he's done a really good job through his first game.
And that was Jared Goff talking about Lions rookie running back Jahmyr Gibbs. If you're watching on YouTube, by the way, hello. Hit that subscribe button. Coming up on 50,000 subscribers on this platform. Hit the like button as well. Let's see if we can get to over 100 likes by the end of the hour. Braylon, the importance of Jahmyr Gibbs. And I think this is a big week.
Yeah.
All these questions, Braylon, that we have been, all these statements really, they weren't really questions. But these Lions are different. This regime is different. These players are different. This owner is different. The general manager, the head coach, everything about the culture of the Detroit Lions is different. We are going to find out really quick. I know it's early in the season, but as far as early games go for just about anybody in the National Football League, I think we're going to learn a lot about the Detroit Lions this week. What are they made of? Can they come back from a tough loss against Seattle? Can they come back from the injuries? Is this roster as deep as we thought it was coming into this season? There's a lot of questions. We're going to get a lot of answers on Sunday.
Yeah, we're going to get a lot of answers, and it's time to pay the piper. When you break it down, the Detroit Lions coming into the season, a lot of people had them definitely to win the division, but some people had them to get to the NFC Championship game. You talked about the depth, you talked about the offensive line, you talk about the quarterback play, you talk about the new people that you brought on the defense, a defense that wasn't that good at the beginning, but became very good at the end. You added pieces to that. Now you mix all that together. You win week 1, then you lose week 2. Injuries, there were some injuries, but you got to win that game. Like, you got to find ways to win. This is supposed to be the brand new Lions. You got to find ways to win that game. Whether it's coaching, whether it's playing, you got to find ways to win. Now that game's over. Moving on to Atlanta Falcons. This is the chance, Ryan, like you said, for the Detroit Lions to show that they are no longer the same old Lions. This is a chance to come out at home, mind you, back-to-back weeks. You come against a team in Atlanta Falcons that hasn't figured their offense out yet. They know they got Bijan Robinson, but not much on the outside and not much out of Kyle Pitts, not much out of Desmond Ridder. Don't let them get started. Find ways to get this offensive line to get some yards for Jahmyr Gibbs or Craig Reynolds or whoever's going to run the ball. Jared Goff, be the guy you were last year, not turn the ball over. We don't expect you to go every game without making turnovers, but be that guy that was the steady hand that got us into field goal range, that got us in the touchdown range, just like you were last week. The first possession of the game for the Lions, to me, was the most impressive thing the Lions did all game. Geno Smith and them go down there, 7 minutes, quiet the crowd. What did the Detroit Lions come right back and do, man? They march right back down there and they score right back. It's your turn, Seattle. Be that team. They got to win this week. This is a must-win for the Detroit Lions, but the good thing is, Ryan, they can win this game. They should dominate on defense, and on offense, I want to see that offensive line get some movement going forward.
I can't trump what he said. This is, to me, it's week 3, but you got to win. You can't go 0-2 at home, 0-2 against the NFC to begin your season. Last year they started 1-6. You cannot dig a hole. You can't dig a hole and expect to just dig out of it. Last year they got healthy in the second half of the year. Guess what? They're going to have to do that again because they're down 5 starters, maybe 6 players when you go all the way around. It's just was not a good week last week for the Lions. They lost a lot last week, and you've got to see development out of the running game. The wideouts got to help, and of course the defensive line. You got to step up. Jared Goff, he's done his job.
And also, too, you look at it like this. When we were talking about the season before it started, you're pointing out wins and losses. You're looking at certain teams. And when we went down there, we looked at Kansas City. We said maybe, Seahawks, maybe. But then after that, what did we say? Win against the Falcons, win against the Packers, win against the Panthers, win against the Bucks, blah, blah, blah. Well, now the NFL season started. The more information you have, this is still the NFL. It's not going to get easier as you go. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers, sorry, they're 2-0. Doesn't matter how they're 2-0. Currently, right now, they're 2-0. The Green Bay Packers looks like they have a better offense than we thought. Defense still got some players. Jair Alexander, one of the best defensive backs in the league. And then, here comes the Ravens. It's not going to get easier. So you need to find yourself. Identity is what we talked about. Get that identity going. Get a win. It's only now. You're not worried about next week. You're not worried about the following week. It's just the Atlanta Falcons. get a win, get some identity, get some stuff going.
And speaking of identity, too, part of the Detroit Lions' identity, what they want it to be, is toughness.
Yeah.
And you can look no further than Tracy Walker when it comes to toughness, both physically and mentally tough. Here's what Tracy Walker had to say about his return to the starting lineup.
It's a tough situation. Losing CJ, he definitely brought a different aspect to our team. His energy, his enthusiasm is definitely going to be missed. Like I said, he was definitely a great player for us. For me, I just look at it as a great opportunity for me to come back. Considering I'm coming back from my injury, like I said, it's a special week for me considering the week it's the same week I tore my Achilles. So it's such a blessing for me, and I'm just looking at it just to capitalize on the opportunity right now.
First of all, I didn't know Tracy Walker was a Sigma, so shout out to my Sigma brother. I saw that tat right there. Blue fire, you know. But look, Tracy Walker's coming back. This is the week he got injured last week, which means he's had 365 days to heal, or 2 years technically, to heal that, to get back. Also, Tracy's not one of the younger guys on the team. It may seem that way, Matt. Tracy's year 6. This is year 6 for Tracy Walker, so he needs to have that veteran energy when he goes on the field. He knows how to make plays and also get guys going. The key for the Lions on defense is to get the crowd going, but make plays. Got to make plays. Get some sacks. Get an interception. Get some pass deflections. Once you do that and once you get Ford Field into it, Ford Field was waiting to erupt for the Lions that last Sunday. They were ready. They got close. They were up 21-7. I think it was there. But they were close. Ford Field's ready to erupt. The defense has to give them a reason to erupt and take the Falcons out of the game.
And I see somebody in the chat, he's speaking of defense, and I spoke about this a little bit yesterday, and just not at the expense of not repeating myself, but somebody said Aaron Glenn's got to get out of here. Aaron Glenn sucks. And I'll go back to this, man, and maybe you don't want to look at last year, but I will take in the whole body of work with Aaron Glenn. The last 12 games this team has played, they've held 7 of the 12 opponents have been held to 20 points or less. So I don't think he sucks. And I will look at the turnovers last week as a part of that. 7 of those points were to Jared Goff. And then the other 2 times they scored touchdowns off of turnovers was a fumble by David Montgomery deep inside their own zone, and a 4th and 2 call inside their 40 that put the defense in a really bad place. I think Dan Campbell can help Aaron Glenn a little bit by some of the decision making that he makes, but I don't believe that Aaron Glenn sucks or has to go. And I just we'll see what happens this week. Okay, can you at least reserve judgment? If you don't want to go back to last week, just reserve judgment to this week. Okay, so they held Patrick Mahomes in Kansas City, and I don't care who dropped passes. I don't care who didn't play. They held Patrick Mahomes in Kansas City to 20 points. So then last week, yes, Geno Smith put up some passing yards. It was a bend, don't break. Let's see what Desmond Ridder and Bijan Robinson do this week against the Lions. Can we just not panic? I know it's popular for everybody to come out here and lose their minds and come out here with all these hot takes. And it's this roller coaster of emotions. And yes, it sucked that they lost last week. I fully agree with you. But that's a game they would have won 9 times out of 10. And they should have won that game, if not for the turnovers. So forgive me if I'm not ready to start calling for this coach or this coordinator or that coordinator to be escorted out of the building.
Hey, I'm definitely not calling for Aaron Glenn's job. But at the same time, when people have if they're worried about Aaron Glenn, I can't say they're wrong. At the end of the day, you look at it like this: the Kansas City Chiefs game, yes, you don't care that they dropped the passes. It's just blah blah blah. But what you do care about, Ryan, is the fact that they were in position, wide open to catch passes. 5 of them to be at 5 drops, but all 5 of those passes, they were wide open to catch those passes. That's on the defense. Defense has got to be in position to make plays, and so you transfer that over to the Seattle Seahawks game, and then once again, you got Geno Smith when he's given time, just picking it apart. So no, I'm not trying to kick him out the business, but at the same time, I'm keeping a close eye on it, if you will, and this is a good week for them. They don't pass the ball down there in the Falcons. So this is a really good week for the defense, for the Detroit Lions, and Aaron Glenn to get back on track. Yes, defense, with the turnovers, you lose a turnover about 9 times out of 10, you're going to lose the game. But at the same time, that can't be the excuse because every team that turns the ball over doesn't lose. So
they don't want to make Desmond Ridder They don't want to give him any
Please
confidence.
don't.
I mean, don't turn him into something he's really not. He's just an average quarterback. We really don't know much about him. They have Bijan Robinson. They have Kyle Pitts. Besides that, you really couldn't name a guy. Tyler Allgeier's a good running back as well.
They got Tyler Algier?
Yeah,
do.
Tyler
Oh,
Allgeier.
my gosh.
No one pays attention to that guy, but he's a good player.
Yeah.
I wish we had him.
Laugh.
I wish we had him. Matter of fact, I wish we would have had the guy that the Vikings just traded for, Cam Akers, as a backup. You know, they got him for a 6th-round pick. That's another story. I just wish they had a little bit more depth at the wide receiver and obviously at the running back right now. That's all I'm worried about.
This is what I do want to see, Ryan, and getting it back to the physicality. Like this is a game that you want to see toughness. This is also a great opponent to be tough with. This is a physical team. They have been a physical team for the last year, and even their first 2 games going into this season. Last year, they were in a lot of dogfights. Arthur Smith is a good coach. He has the pulse of these guys, and they will hit you. They will hit you in the mouth. We're supposed to be the tough team. Grit, villain, that's where we are. And last time I checked, this game is at home. Don't let this team from Atlanta come up here and out-grit you, out-villain you, out-tough you. This is supposed to be the physicality statement for the Detroit Lions coming off a loss to the Seattle Seahawks. This has got to be a statement game in terms of, I don't care if the Lions win 17-13. I don't care if they win 10-9. I care that they out-physical the Atlanta Falcons. It's one of those type of games.
You know who's big game for this is, right? It's your guy, John Kaminsky.
Yeah.
Former Falcon.
Former Falcon.
Yeah.
You know he's gonna be raring to go and hit his old teammate right in the mouth. I look for a great game out of the commissioner.
And my guy Bugs. Put Bugs next to
Let's
Kaminsky
see.
and let
Put
him
him
go.
in there.
Put Bugs next to Kaminsky.
He hasn't
and
been active yet.
Let him go. He will be active this week. That's my pledge.
All right, what is going on
I
with that?
don't
Do we
know,
have
man.
any
No.
information? I ran into Terry Foster. Shout out to T. Foster. I ran into him at the Apple Orchard yesterday. He said he's trying to hit his guys up on the inside to see what it is. It's like mum's the word in Allen Park about Isaiah Bugs and how that relationship is. As a former player, it can only be something that happened outside the field
Correct.
or a weight problem. Those are the only 2 things.
That could be it.
Weight problem or something off the field.